Continuing on now in chapter 8, Gospel according to Matthew, we find the beginning of an accounting of a number of miracles that Jesus performs. Now it's important to note at this point that not everything in the Bible is written in chronological order. And this is especially true of the Gospels. We need to remember what the focus of the Gospel according to Matthew is. The focus in the Gospel according to Matthew is Jesus as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. That is, Jesus as the promised Messiah, the Anointed One, the Deliverer. And so things that are shown in the Gospel according to Matthew are in groups, and they're chronicled to show that Jesus is the fulfillment of the Old Testament scriptures concerning Messiah. One of the ways that he demonstrates himself is by the mighty works that he does, by these miracles he performs. These miracles are healings. These miracles are controlling the weather. These miracles are casting out demons. These miracles are things that are completely wondrous, completely miraculous, things that the average person could not do. Now in chapters 8 and 9, we find a whole series of these miracles chronicled. And in the original scrolls, there would be no chapter marker here, reading chapter 8 and chapter 9, and there would be no verse divisions, but you would have a section in the scrolls in which the Gospel of Matthew is contained that would pertain to the miracles that Jesus worked. So let's begin now in chapter 8, verse 1, and we'll look at the first 4 verses in the first chronicled miracle here. When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Jesus put forth his hand, and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Jesus saith unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, show thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them. And that gift is noted in the books of Leviticus and in Deuteronomy concerning the gift for having been healed of leprosy. Now, leprosy still exists today, and it's a very heinous disease. It's a disease in which the body literally decays over time. A very slow-acting disease. It creates a very painful condition, and it is a communicable disease, which means people that come in contact with those that have leprosy can also contract leprosy themselves. So at this time, and for many years prior and since this time, there was what they called leper colonies. And when people had leprosy, they were actually condemned to go into those colonies, basically to live out their lives, which could be many, many years, but eventually there to die. So a person being cured of leprosy was not simply a miracle in which they were ill and then they became healthy, but it was also a gift and a blessing that now they're able to communicate, they're able to become a regular part of their society again. So this healing really was twofold here when he heals this leper, of both giving him his health back and also giving him the opportunity to spend time with his community, to spend time with his family, to live a normal life once again. Now, continuing in verse 5, when Jesus was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion beseeching him, saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, and grievously tormented. And Jesus said unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldst come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, Go, and he goeth. And I say to another, Come, and he cometh. And to my servant, Do this, and he doeth. And when Jesus heard it, he marveled, and said to them that followed, Verily, I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Jesus said unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in the selfsame hour. Now there's a lot going on here that illustrates the importance of faith. Jesus actually explains in this passage that salvation is not for the Jews alone, that salvation is for anyone that comes to him by faith believing. This word believe permeates the entirety of all of the Gospels as well as the entire Scriptures, but is specifically focused upon in the Gospels because it's a matter of our faith that brings us before the throne of God. It's a matter of our faith that cries out to God that we are sinners in need of salvation and accepts Christ as our Redeemer. When we look at this individual, he's a centurion. He's a Roman centurion. Okay, the word centurion simply means where we get the word century from, or where we get the word cent or percent, per 100. Centurion simply means this man was in charge of 100 soldiers. And so this man was clearly not a Jew. In fact, this man was clearly a Roman. And at some point in time, his background was pretty much pagan. And there were certain things he had to profess his faith to. One of them is that he had to profess his faith in Caesar. If he didn't do that, there's no way he was going to be a Roman soldier, let alone a centurion who's in charge of 100 soldiers. And yet he comes to the Lord here, and for some reason he's seen some accounting, and he's moved, and he sees and he believes that at the very least he believes that Christ is a man of God, if not completely believing that he is indeed the Son of God. And in verse 8, Jesus says that he will come and heal him. Jesus sees that the man has opened the door of his home for this man to come. He's called unto him. This is a picture of salvation. At the end of the book of Revelation, we also see the same thing, that Jesus and the bride say, Come. At the end of chapter 3, Jesus says he stands at the door and knocks, and if anyone will answer, he will come in with them and dine with them. See, Jesus wants that relationship, and we're just going to see that over and over and over again throughout the entirety of the Gospels, how important that relationship is. He doesn't just want to be Lord over us. He wants to be Lord and Savior in us and through us and with us. There's so much in the Scriptures that tell us about a personal relationship that the Lord desires with each and every one of us.